Hi, in this video, I will show you our progress concerning the Dev for Operations layer. But, before we begin, what is the Dev for Operations layer? In the NGPaaS architecture, it is shared by the BaaS and the PaaS layers. It uses DevOps principles and adapts them to a multi-sided environment with vendors, an NGPaaS operator and vertical service providers. So, it provides tools for continuous integration, delivery and monitoring. On one side, Dev for Operations allows the NGPaaS operator to compose a service for a vertical service provider. He creates the service selecting different components and their links. The service is integrated, validated, monitored within the PaaS platform. Filtered monitoring information are also available to vendors. On the other side, it focuses on vendors and the development of their components. It allows vendors to integrate their components and to receive feedback information seamlessly. It works even if services using these components are running. Then, what is the current status of this Dev for Operations implementation? Let's see. We will now automatically deploy Jenkins for both vendor and operator on OpenStack. For this, we are now using Terraform. Terraform will create an OpenStack instance, then use Ansible to configure it as a Docker host, deploy a Jenkins container and monitoring containers. Once completed, the vendor will have a ready-to-use Jenkins. In our case, a CI job will be created to automate the full process of scanning repositories and build all the components. For the Jenkins on the operator side, it will also scan the repositories, but only for specific operator pipelines. Vendor and operator Jenkins are now ready. We can log in and start some pipelines. For now, the operators Jenkins have no pipelines configured. On the other hand, vendors Jenkins have mutables pipelines for compiling, packaging, testing and shipping the components. All the vendor pipelines worked fine. I'll now explain the workflow for those. First of all, Jenkins will scan the vendor's repositories for Jenkins files containing the pipelines. Once discovered, the different Jenkins files will be added as jobs. Our vendor have different pipelines. The first one is for building the Docker images. Those Docker images will be used on the different pipelines. The second will be for building component package, with compilation, packaging, basic tests and finally shipping to a staging repository. The third one is for testing purpose. It will create an instance on OpenStack for installing the staging package and run functional tests. If the tests are okay, the package is promoted to a production repository. Finally, on the last pipeline, the production package will be installed and configured in the OpenStack image created. And of course, one successful job can trigger the build of another one. This permits to create a full automated workflow. Concerning the operator side, the workflow is slightly different. We only have two pipelines. The first one is for building the Docker images needed for the pipelines. The second is for testing the OpenStack image from the vendor. If the tests are successful, then the image will be added to the NGPaaS catalog. We now have the pipelines ready on the operator side. Let's see it in action. First, we will scan the Git repositories for operator pipelines. Jenkins has found the two pipelines concerning the operator and will launch the different jobs. To recap, the vendor workflow is more about building, testing and packaging the different components. The operator workflow is more on the integration with the NGPaaS platform, with extensive testing of the final vendor image and integration to the platform catalog. We have also added monitoring. Using cAdvisor, Prometheus, and Grafana, it is possible to monitor the performances of the Docker host and containers. Jenkins metrics are usable too. Using Prometheus plugin for Jenkins, it's possible to export metrics to Prometheus then graph them with Grafana. Thank you for your attention and keep in mind, this is still a work in progress. Bye.